Moment. Joining us now is a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Democratic Senator from Rhode Island, Sheldon Whitehouse. Senator, thanks for taking the time to talk to us on a busy day. Just react for a moment to that exchange between your colleague, Senator Booker, and Kash Patel.
Well, I think the director is under considerable fire from the right for his mishandling and generally botched approach to the Kirk murder. And so he obviously came in performative mode because he knows that President Trump likes to see his minions do combat and be rude to Democrats. So I think you clearly saw Patel playing that performative role. Whether that performance is good enough to get him out of trouble for his mishandling of various aspects of his office remains to be seen. But you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Senator Patel flat out denied that there was an enemies list. You've accused him of having an enemies list in the past. Were you satisfied with his response?
No, he doesn't answer truthfully. He may not like the characterization of an enemies list, but he has a list of people who he said needed going after. And I think that's a fair characterization of an enemies list. And if you look at that list of names, 20 of 60, he's already found a way to take some adverse action against. So he's actually well on his way. In only 7 months in office, he's already a third of his way through his enemies list. So I think that's something that he's going to need to explain better, just as he made a complete hash of trying to explain the grand jury questions that he was asked.
We have seen those lawsuits filed by fired FBI agents against Kash Patel. We've been talking about it here. Do you believe that the work of the FBI and by extension, even the safety of Americans is at risk right now?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, when you have fewer people to do the same work because you fired and run out of the office so many people, that's going to be adverse to productivity. When you've taken people who are real experts in their field and really know the world and know exactly how really complex investigations need to be done to get it right, and you run them off because they voted for Kamala Harris or whatever, then you've damaged the office by causing it to lose expertise. And then there's the systematic stuff where they seem to be taking down anything that looks at Russia. And I don't know what's going on between Trump and Putin, but it is very peculiar for an adversary of that magnitude to face an FBI that is systematically pulling down our defenses against Russian interference and manipulation.
Here at home, so many people are concerned about the dissolution, essentially, of public discourse and seeing the rise in political violence. Senator Cruz just said in that hearing that the left celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. What more can you and your colleagues do in Congress to ensure that Americans feel as though this is not that politics are not being weaponized and that violence is not being celebrated in either corner?
Yeah, I think part of it is simply to condemn violence whenever it happens. When people are using an incident of violence to attack the other side politically, then I think that's a pretty strong signal that they're not taking the quest to reduce violence very seriously. When people are only talking about violence against one party and ignoring shootings, murders, injuries of the other party, then I think that's a pretty strong signal that they're not taking the quest for less violence seriously. So I think there are a lot of accountability moments ahead.
Clearly. I have to just ask you before you go, Vice President J.D. Vance has said that there's a growing element of your party that is embracing dangerous and violent ideology. Would you acknowledge that that's the case and speak out against it?
Yeah, if that were the case, but it's a little ironic coming from the administration of a man who literally sent a mob to the Capitol to do violence, not only to the institution of Congress and to the monument of our nation's Capitol building, but to the real injury of dozens of police officers and several fatalities resulting. You know, there's a point where you have to be accountable to yourself as well.
All right, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, thank you very much for spending some time with us on a very busy news day. We hope you will stay in touch with us in the future.